Welcome to the Fine Film Podcast. I'm your host, Sin, and Stefano, welcome back.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me back here. It's been a little while since we last spoke.
It's good. It's good that you're back.
Good to be here.
There's a very interesting and sexy film that's brought us back.
It is one of my favorite films. I think one of yours as well.
It is. It's up there. It's definitely up there. It's 2014's Damien Chazelle's Whiplash.
Directorial debut.
Whiplash. It is. It is his directorial debut. Great fucking film.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Rarely have you seen a film that's, I think it's 90 minutes or so? 90 minutes, 100 minutes?
Not a long run.
Done so succinctly, so perfectly. There's
it's great.
No drag, no waiting.
No dragging, no rushing.
No dragging, no rushing. It just goes straight to the point.
It does.
It's an extremely intense film.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's I guess the way it was made is interesting. So Chazelle, I think he made like a short film before. So he was like in school when he was like in film school and stuff like that. By the way, his whole life, I think his dad was a musician. So this whole story about Miles Teller's character and stuff like that, it's kind of loosely inspired by Chazelle's life.
Okay.
Not that I don't think that he had like a crazy like teacher that did this to him.
Terrence Fletcher.
Yeah, I don't think he had a Fletcher, but loosely based on that. I think he made a movie before, but then he wanted to make Whiplash, right? So he had this story, and I think he kept writing it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he couldn't get funding for it.
Okay.
So he turned it into a short film. And he still filmed it with J.K. Simmons actually.
Oh, no way.
Which was interesting. But I think they filmed like only like one scene or a couple of scenes, right? It's like one of the more intense kind of scenes when they're like when he's yelling and stuff like that. But essentially made this short film, submitted it to Sundance, and they ended up winning. What was it? I think it was like he won like the audience award, I believe it was. Science Film Festival, they won a short film jury award. Yeah. And then soon after that, he got funding for the feature.
Yeah.
And then the year after, he made it straight away. So he got funding. He made the feature film straight away.
Extraordinary.
Submitted it next year, 2014. And then he won the Grand Jury Prize Award for drama in 2014.
Well, there you go.
Amazing.
Full circle moment.
Yeah. So don't give up on your dreams. Never give up, kids. Never give up.
Well, no one ever told him good job.
Yeah, exactly. He was never praised for his work.
Exactly right.
He had to push the boundaries. As mentioned, 2014 release.
Yep.
The feature comes out. Chazelle, directed by Damien Chazelle, first feature film, right? It stars J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller.
Extraordinary.
If you don't know already.
J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson and Miles Teller. The synopsis of the film reads, Andrew enrolls in a music conservatory to become a drummer, but he is mentored by Terrence Fletcher, whose unconventional training methods push him to beyond the boundaries of reason and sensibility. Great.
Exceptional.
Exceptional. J.K. Simmons' character, obviously Terrence Fletcher, referred to as Fletcher throughout most of the movie. And then Miles Teller's character's name, Andrew, I believe originally it's pronounced Naaman, but he tells that to Fletcher at the start of the film, and Fletcher ends up calling him Neiman for the rest of the film because it sounds a little bit more degrading.
It does.
It sounds a bit more whiny, like Neiman.
It's a power thing for Fletcher.
Yeah, it is. He controls him from that moment.
I don't care about your actual name.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's really
you little dweeb. One of the, I think, one of the main characters of this film is also the music of the film.
Absolutely.
Composed by Justin Hurwitz, which is he's like really good friends with Damien Chazelle.
Okay.
And they probably have some ties. Sorry for not fact checking this, but they probably have some ties from like music school or something.
Okay.
But it was like he's composed music for him in all his feature films from then, and really like combined this fucking playlist and all that. But amazing.
Some of his other films, remember they are La La Land?
La La Land and First Man.
First Man.
Yeah, with Gosling.
Yeah.
Justin Hurwitz, he did the music for them. He is Hans Zimmer. If you compare Christopher Nolan and Damien Chazelle, Justin Hurwitz is the Hans
They seem to
Zimmer
have that nice little
of the
collab
Chazelle
going.
universe. It's amazing. Music's great.
Oh, it's sensational. And I think for those, or whether you're a jazz enthusiast or just a very passive jazz listener, you can't help but love the music in that movie.
No, it's amazing. It's
very, very sexy.
Yeah, great to work to as well. I'm sure we've played it in our office.
In the office before.
It gets you going. It gets you thinking. It's very creative. It's great.
Absolutely.
What do you love about this film?
Oh, look, the music certainly. I mean, that's something that encapsulates you in. But Fletcher, he's such a tyrant. He's just he's unbelievably ruthless. And the first time watching, for example, I watched this film with my housemates and my partner a couple of weeks ago. I was really excited because I'd seen it a few times and they hadn't. And you and I both know the only thing better than seeing a movie for the first time is watching somebody else watch a movie that you've seen and love for the first time.
Showing it to someone else.
Exactly right. Sharing that gift.
Sharing the gift.
When they're on their phone, you just want to snap their hands.
Concentrate, damn it.
Well, this is one of those films where it demands your concentration.
It does.
And you already get a glimpse in those first moments when Fletcher and Neiman first meet.
Neiman.
That Fletcher's a bit of a hard ass.
Yeah.
But he sort of leads you into almost like in that warm bar that you think he's actually okay, where he talks about his mum passing away, I believe.
True.
You think this guy's actually okay.
Yeah.
And suddenly, without warning, as quickly as the drums start hitting, he becomes this absolute monster of a person.
Absolutely.
And his intensity and ferocity just scares you. And for me, I haven't had many films shock me in that way.
Yeah.
His character is just phenomenal. I mean,
100%.
I think he won the Academy Award, I believe.
He sure did.
Yeah, he earned every part of that.
He fucking earned
out of this. I mean, so much so he inspired today's outfit for reference.
Black tops.
So for me, that's probably my, the favorite part of the film for me. What about you?
Well, it's
what
that.
Gets you?
What gets me? It's definitely J.K. Simmons. His portrayal of this. I like. There's a lot of themes in this film.
There is
a lot of themes about. What does it take to be the greatest? To be the greatest at if in this case it's to be the greatest musician, right? Greatest jazz musician. But I like that journey of what does it take to be the greatest? And what is it if someone pushes you to get to that point? What is the cost? We like talking about the cost.
Last time we spoke.
What is the cost?
For those who haven't seen that, please go to our Prestige
podcast. Where we talk about the cost as well.
But definitely similar themes.
Similar features, Themes, sorry. But I think that drew me in. And I like the whole concept of, okay, there's this kid, he goes to music school, right? Yeah. And he wants to be a musician.
Yeah.
What does it take?
Wants somebody rich.
It's I like that whole setup. I like that whole journey of going to train to be the best at something.
I think it's a nice reality check.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly for all aspiring musicians, anyone in the arts, everyone thinks they are going to make it.
Yeah.
And you encourage that and you nurture it and you want that.
Sure.
But much to say Terence Fletcher's point, there can only be a handful of great artists, great musicians. And if everyone did just say, good job.
Good job.
Would they be as good as they possibly could be? Arguably not.
Exactly.
He's just, I suppose for him, it's his methods were just super unorthodox. But he got results.
As he mentions in the film, you don't become Charlie Parker overnight. Definitely strong themes of pushing people to their limits to make them the greatest.
Well, I mean, Andrew gives up on his relationship. To pursue his career as well. Ends up obviously groveling and coming back a year or so later. But what does it cost? Well, it costs everything. It costs your time. It costs your love life.
It does, yeah. That whole setup, that whole scene of him meeting that girl at the cinemas, right, which is played by Melissa Benoist. Supergirl. It's interesting. I think Chazelle talked about she's only in the movie I think it's 3 scenes where she's in it. And Miles Teller's character, he's at a different point every time he sees her or every time that scene comes up. So at the start, obviously, he's at the cinemas with his dad.
Yep.
He meets her and all this stuff. He's really he's not as fucked from Fletcher's tormenting at that point, right? He's still kind of naive and stuff like that.
High hopes,
yeah. And he's interested in her. And this is for him, this is, something exciting, and obviously like you could have this relationship, but that brings some kind of positivity and joy to his life, right? But then every time, I think there's like 2 more scenes with her or whatever, and maybe the second one, he's already kind of like, fuck, I need to like give up everything pretty much to do this.
Well, they go on their first date.
Yeah.
A slice of pizza.
Yeah, the slice of pizza.
And all he talks about, well, she goes, why did you choose this pizza place?
Yeah.
I like the music.
Oh. Exactly. There's always an element of...
It's always about music with him.
Exactly. There's always an element. And then obviously he decides later on that he has to give this up, right? Because it's a distraction. She's a distraction.
Perfect word for it. And I mean, for that journey for success.
Yeah.
Everything else really is a distraction.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? To be the greatest.
To be the greatest. I can only do music. I can only be drumming.
100%. It's interesting because she represents in the movie, she represents a way out for him in a way.
Absolutely.
If you don't think this music world, this music thing is going to work out, here's like another thing that could be good, right? Like she seems like a lovely person. They could have this relationship, but that could be a really positive thing for him, right? And he can go in this direction. And it's a major test for him.
Absolutely. Well, he also has his dad several moments throughout the film sort of saying, well, I mean, keep your options open, keep your options open. And
don't go too hard into this.
Yeah, don't go too hard into this.
It's probably not going to work out.
So he's surrounded by doubt and ways to 100%. Get out. And I mean, Terence Fletcher is both the best way in and the best way out.
Yeah.
Because he grinds people to the point that they want to give up or leave.
Exactly. You're not cut out for it.
You're not cut out for it.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I mean, even the opening scene, it's Fletcher finding Neiman, right? In this fucking, he's just practicing, and Fletcher stumbles upon him, right? And he stops playing. He's like, "Why did you stop playing?"
Yeah.
And he starts playing, and he's like, "Did I tell you to stop playing?" Yeah. Like starts tormenting.
Your answer to my question was just to start playing again.
Yeah, exactly. To be a wind up drama. It's so good.
He's just so unbelievably intimidating.
Yeah, but it's like you said. It's like he shows these like moments of like kindness and sympathy at the start, where you're like, oh, like he's okay, but then he turns him so quickly.
It's just a game.
Yeah, it's like when he brings him
a false sense of security.
Exactly, he brings him into the class, right? And then he's really soft on him, and he's like, "That's okay, we'll get it. Go again. It's all right." He keeps stopping him, but obviously, it's probably one of the greater scenes in the movie when he fucking loses it, right? And he hurls the chair at him.
Unbelievable. I think any viewer, if you were watching that movie passively at that moment, you sat up in your chair.
You are shocked.
Yeah, the dynamic of the whole film just changed the second he throws that chair. Oh. It's almost as if the film, if you were to split the film in three or four parts, the first part ends with that chair being thrown, and then you just see the subversion of just everything else just getting darker and darker and darker. And the level of abuse that he unleashes
it's fucked.
Insane.
I love Fletcher's like punctuality as well. Like he walks in like it's like on time, on the second, like in the class, and the class is fucking ready to go. So it's interesting that like all these other students, they're used to his ways, right? And we as the audience are kind of introduced to his world through Neiman, because it's the first time that he's kind of like been brought up to this class and like to the big times. And it's his journey is just fucked. The way he torments him.
Over the way he weaponizes members of the class against one another. He brings in that, who's the other drummer? I can't quite remember his name. With Neiman in the first class.
In the first class,
only really brings him in as a means to push and prod Neiman. And it's so funny when you see him listening to his drumming. And Neiman's just sitting there shaking his head and has such bitter disgust in his mouth. Well, you believe that shit?
Yeah, you believe that shit. This is shit. It's crazy. Like, from then, obviously, like Neiman gets a shot at it, and I think he surpasses the other guy. I think the other guy's name was Tanner, the guy who was originally in Fletcher's class, right, as the main drummer.
Well, he gets the part because
he loses
his book.
He loses his book.
He loses his notes.
Tell me this: do you think that it was on purpose, or was it an actual error, a mistake?
Who knows? The film positions it as if it's an actual mistake.
Yeah.
Here's a crazy thought. What if it was Fletcher that took it?
Yeah, that's even more interesting.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's both of them.
It's an out there theory, but it causes the friction between them.
It's true.
He wants to see if Neiman was happy enough. Well, then ultimately he said, "Do you know off by heart, Caravan?" No, I don't.
Yeah,
I do.
Neiman does.
That's it.
He's been practicing. He's been bleeding, baby.
I mean, that's another thing that pays for the film. To reach the ultimate goal, it's a combination of dedication and luck
Yeah.
Because let's just say that let's say there was no collusion and that he just simply did lose it.
Yeah.
Or he didn't lose the book. What if he ever had that chance? Maybe not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Probably not. So it takes hard work. It takes a little bit of luck.
A bit of a push. Yeah. I like the theory that it was Fletcher. Yeah. That's good. I like that because he places him in that position.
It's a mind game
as just another one of his games.
He kicks one of the trumpeters out of the even though he wasn't out of tune. Like
he wasn't out of tune. Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, it's
ruthless.
Ruthless. He fucks with everyone. It's great. I guess throughout all that, it's also Fletcher, doing a bit of tough love on everyone.
Very much so.
Yeah, because again, it goes to like obviously like he's showing this kind of tough love to everyone, trying to push him to the edge, and then Neiman also, in a way, he kind of understands that that's what it takes, right? There's a great scene when he's having dinner with his family, and I think his two other brothers are there, or whatever, and they're footballers or whatever, and anytime they talk about Neiman, like what he's doing in music school and stuff like that, it's kind of like, oh, that's nice. Like, yeah. But as soon as they start talking about like the son's football, it's like, oh, that's amazing, and like all this stuff. So it's like he's already kind of at home and everything like that. They kind of don't see him as doing something that's that great or that he's going to succeed, or maybe they don't believe in him, right?
Yep.
But it's interesting. Like he even has like a response to, I think it's either his dad or something like that. That like he doesn't care. I don't give a fuck. Like, if I burn out or whatever, and even if I don't have a long career or future or whatever, like I'd rather be remembered than no one fucking remember me as like a football player or whatever that like might have played in college or whatever, something like that.
For sure. And I mean that's a great insight into the creative sort of that creative industry. Yeah. You and I work in the creative industry to some capacity.
Yeah.
Creatives are the new athletes in that one. Exactly. And the art certainly gets brushed with that stroke of, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it might work out.
Yeah.
Well, that whole monologue is a giant fuck you to everyone that thinks that, because
true.
Those who are dedicated and those that are lucky and are producing something that is memorable, not just some guy who played on the college football team and then did make the NFL and then
not memorable. No one remembers him.
Correct.
Neiman wants to be remembered.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he kind of allows Fletcher to like do this to him. Because he toys with the idea of like...
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Is Fletcher actually a bad person?
Well, by the time we get to the end of the film, I don't know if he is. I feel like he's done a lot of shitty things. But I feel like the price and the result that he gets is worth it. Like, I don't know. It's a tough one.
It is.
It's a tough one.
Because, I mean, his
methods.
His whole angle is, I want to produce the best musicians. So, sure. Okay. I can bite that.
Yeah.
But what does it take? Yeah, what does it take? But do you think over time he just got lost into that character and became bitter?
Possibly.
What's that, the Dark Knight line? Die a hero, live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I mean, he really is one of the ultimate villains in any film I've ever seen.
He is. Harvey Dent. Two-Face. No, I like that. Yeah. That's interesting. It definitely, it's definitely, like, at the end of the day, was it worth what he did? It kind of is, right? Because if you create something or someone, if you make someone the best they could have ever been, is that a bad thing?
Didn't it work?
Yeah.
Well, if that's a perfect segue for you, can we talk about that last scene for a brief moment?
Oh, we sure can.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it is one of the greatest closing scenes, if not the greatest closing scene of any movie I've personally ever seen.
I think I agree with you.
For those of you that haven't seen it, I would absolutely implore you to watch it just for that scene.
100%. 100%.
Miles Teller fucking killed that. It was out of this world.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's so good. It's great because Fletcher fucks him, right? So Fletcher brings him on and kind of it's like, oh, I don't know who dubbed on me. But it doesn't really matter or whatever. Like
you should come and play for me this week.
You should come play for me this week. Yeah, like it'll be great. And fucking Neiman at that point, he's kind of like, oh, like, okay, maybe I will like jump back into this thing.
And I think there was a shred of guilt for Neiman when he was sitting there watching Fletcher at the bar as well, thinking, I just fucked this guy's whole career.
Yeah. And now he's trying to do something else with it. Yeah.
It's a bit of remorse. Sort of creeping in there.
Yeah.
And when he sits down and Fletcher just completely turns on with the 180.
I know it was you.
And it kills me.
It kills me. I know it was you, Maury. It's a great moment.
It is.
But
the final solo.
It's so good. Because he fucks him and Neiman's gone, right?
Loops in the caravan.
But he comes back, baby.
It's just
and he takes over. He takes over the fucking... Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. But at that point as well, Fletcher's fucked him and Neiman's now fucked him back.
Yeah.
And then they're both, at that point, I think together they're experiencing probably one of the greatest moments of their musical lives. Or,
look, this may shock you. I'm not a musician. But
wait, what? but you love to play the jazz flute.
I'm yet to see music treated as sensibly and as respectfully as in that final scene in that movie. The drum, everything about the drums, it is just the way all the camera just changes. It's completely sucks you in.
It's
even
so
when Fletcher doing that and the cutscene, it is just out of this world when the caravan sort of finishes off. Yeah,
but you know what, Fletcher? It's interesting to see him because he respects that moment so much, even though Neiman just screwed him over as well.
Well, there's that subtle nod as he sort of walks away.
And then he lets him, he kind of guides him as well, right? So he's his teacher, right? He's still his, it's amazing.
What's Fletcher's great love is also music.
Yeah. He won't just because he's noticing like a amazing moment, right? It's like, he wouldn't just shut it down because of his own personal feelings, right? He loves music and jazz so much that he's going to elevate this moment and kind of help him,
And when that moment ends, the movie finishes.
Yeah.
What a better way to end a film.
It's amazing. Well, Chazelle talks about the opening scene of the film and the ending scene of the film. I think both of them are zooming in on Neiman as well, which is like a good comparison, which we should do a clip about.
Oh, we should have absolutely.
We should definitely do it. But amazing. I mean, ends so well. In between, I mean, there are so many great scenes in this film.
Okay.
I jotted down a couple.
Okay.
The crash scene when he crashes the car.
No one saw that coming.
No one saw that coming.
No one saw that coming. Oh, I certainly didn't.
Yeah.
And again, the
it's
movie
so fucked. Yeah.
It's so visceral. So many moments it just completely knocks you. Like you sit up back in your chair.
It's
when
amazing.
You thought about reaching for your phone to send that text message, and that happens. Your phone goes back down.
It's fucked.
Intoxicating.
That whole sequence, it's so I'm on the edge of my seat. Like I'm like, the fuck's going on? Because he gets a bus, I think, to go out to the show.
He does.
He can't get there. He goes to rent a car. He drives the car, but because he's rushing, he leaves his sticks. Actually, he leaves them there. Goes. Fucking Fletcher's yelling at him. He's yelling back. It's like, I'm gonna fucking be there. Because at that point, Neiman's completely fucking losing it as well, right? Because he's I think he's at the tipping point as well. He's on the edge.
Oh, he's at an emotional breaking point, certainly.
100%.
And again, he's just kicked off his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's playing to the point that his hands are bleeding.
Yeah.
He's muscled his way into getting that role back from the guy that took the role off him initially.
Yeah.
He's literally at breaking point.
He's literally at breaking
moment.
Yeah.
Gets in that fucking rental car.
Oh, God. He's on the phone. He's like, just don't fucking start. It's so good.
The ability for a director to trigger that sense of anxiety in you. I mean, you feel anxious just watching that scene. 100%. I felt sick watching it.
Exactly.
And then for the crash, he didn't care.
Nah, he didn't give a fuck. He got out of there bleeding, and still went, right? And then he's he went to actually play and he made it slightly on time, right? And he starts playing and he's fucking bleeding. And he just he's done at that point. It's
it's
fucked.
Again,
it's
an intoxicating scene.
It is.
What's another one?
Well, another point that I had, it was interesting that before that as well, there's a soft scene with Fletcher as well when he comes into class. And he talks about one of his old students, Sean Casey.
Yes.
Who was a great musician as well. And he plays some of his music and tells a story about him. And he says that he was in a car accident, that he died.
Passed away.
Yeah. He passed away. Really soft scene with him. You're like, maybe Fletcher isn't an asshole.
All that, isn't all that bad.
Isn't all that bad. But then later, it turns out that, Sean Casey killed himself.
Suffered emotional abuse at the hands of Fletcher, and it just completely had a long-lasting effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a bit of a dark shadow of what Neiman could turn into, right? And he realizes as well.
Well, I think that became even a tipping point for Neiman pressing charges against
Yeah,
Fletcher.
because he didn't want to originally.
I didn't want to, yeah.
He was pushed.
And then, well, his dad certainly was furious, and understandably so.
You know, it's an interesting dynamic. His dad wouldn't understand what it takes or wouldn't appreciate it the same way that Neiman does.
Of course.
Because that's why Neiman's fighting back and saying, like, no, like, you know, this is right, what I'm doing and everything like that. Whereas his dad's like, this guy's a psycho. Like, you need to fucking stop this.
It's wrong. It's abuse.
Yeah. But yeah, to be the greatest.
What is that? What is the cost?
What is the cost? What is the cost? It's great.
I mean, one of my favorite scenes certainly is when they're having that drum off.
Yeah.
And they've told the rest of the orchestra that you have to sit outside and
wait.
Again,
until we get this right.
We're not leaving till we get this right. And the three of them are just moving in unison. The sweat. The blood on the hands. It's so unbelievably intense. So fucked.
Yeah.
And the faster. Oh my God. It's
crazy.
It's out of this world.
It's amazing. That's a great scene. Is the are you rushing or dragging? Is that the same as the hurling the chair scene? Remind me again. Do you remember?
I believe it is, because he asked us, were you rushing or were you dragging?
And he's not sure.
He gives him a few slaps in the face too.
Yeah. Am I rushing or am I dragging? It's so good.
Imagine that happening in a classroom now.
I know.
Imagine that happening in a classroom anywhere.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, personally, I grew up, playing basketball. And I've had hard trainings. In Serbia. I've had tough trainings before and I've had tough coaches before. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why I also relate to this film, because anyone that's kind of like trained for something very hard and all that kind of stuff, or had tough, teachers or tough coaches and things like that, you might have experienced some level of this, but maybe not to that extent, right?
No.
But yeah, the way he goes with it, like it's crazy. It's just tough. It's very tough. I would like to get into some trivia for the film.
Yeah.
Did you want to run down a couple of interesting points that you found?
There's a couple of interesting points that I found here, and the first one really blew me away.
Here we go.
And that was that the film was shot in 19 days.
Oh.
I mean, if I'm a production company
very short,
and we're pumping out a film in 19 days, which I imagine grossed a sizable amount of money.
Yeah.
And won numerous accolades. That's a pretty sweet turnaround.
That is a great return on that one.
That's unbelievable.
What was the budget? Let me just double check actually, because I'm interested to find out. Budget was 3.3 million US. The box office was 49 million.
Really?
There you go.
Here's one. And this is something that always plagued me after watching the film. Because I mean, certainly for those who end up watching it or have seen it, that final scene, amazing. Andrew's final solo there. Although a visual double was used, all of Andrew's drumming was performed by Miles Teller himself to pre-recorded tracks. About 40% of Teller's drumming was used in the actual soundtrack.
That's pretty cool.
That's out of this world.
Yeah. Because when you're watching it, you're like, fuck, it looks real. Like, it looks like he's doing it. You know what the problem for me is? Obviously, I'm not a drummer. So I don't know, like, if he's doing it right or doing it good. But
some of the blood on his hands in those scenes was actually Miles Teller's blood, for reference.
No shit.
His hands are actually bleeding. He developed a serious amount of blisters from taking all the shots. Again, we're talking about 19 days worth of filming.
Yeah.
So let's think about the amount of drums he would have played, every take that they got wrong.
Fuck, I know.
It's extraordinary. That's a lot of drumming.
That's great. Holy shit.
And that's commitment.
That is commitment, yeah.
I mean, I feel like isn't a lot of films recently, Miles Teller, the past couple of years have been quiet for him, or 2 or 3. But
a little bit more quiet, yeah.
Like 2014 and 18, he was just pumping out films.
It was, yeah. War Dogs.
Yeah. He's one of Hollywood's hot young actors. He certainly is.
He is. He's very hard right now. Well, he's going to be back in
what's his next film?
The new Top Gun film, Maverick.
Oh.
And he's like gotten jacked for that as well.
Fantastic.
He's got a nice mustache.
Oh, fantastic.
So he'll be back, baby.
Watch out.
He'll be back this year. He'll be
Big
back.
Miles.
Yeah. What else do we have?
Well, J.K. Simmons has won 47 awards for his role as
Oh my God.
Which is incredible.
Holy shit. Well, obviously the most important was the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in that year.
Back to the point around budget and gross income. The film was one of the lowest grossing movies ever to be nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Interesting.
So maybe the studio wasn't that happy.
Yeah. But great film.
What else do we have here? In the scene where J.K. Simmons yells, "I will fuck you like a pig," you may notice that the camera cuts away from him when he delivers that line. That line was actually taken from the short film. The original line was, "I'm going to gut you like a fucking pig." Damien Chazelle thought the new line was hilarious and included it in the production script. Simmons thought it was ridiculous and refused to say that line, but Chazelle included the mistake in post-production anyway.
That's so good. Oh, fuck you like a pig. It's so much better.
Violent. It's extremely visceral.
It's so fun. Imagine your teacher in school yelled at you. Oh my God.
I think when I was watching it with my housemates a couple of weeks ago, when he dropped that line, I think everyone sort of eyes were looking around the room like, did he just say that?
Fuck you like a pig. That's fucking amazing.
Again, it was shot, edited, and submitted into Sundance in 10 weeks, which is just crazy. Andrew appears in every single scene in the film.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
It's all about him. It's about his journey.
Buddy Rich, the famous drummer who Andrew idolizes, never received any form of music education and said he never practiced.
Interesting. And he idolizes, yeah. So his methods were probably not so conventional as well, which is interesting. Interesting.
That's it. I mean, there's certainly a fair few.
There's a few things
but
there.
Some of those ones, I mean, the 19 Days blows me away.
Yeah.
That's exceptional. And again, the film is short, concise. There's no scene that I would take out of that film.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing else that I think would need to be added to it.
Yeah,
it's just short, concise, and perfect.
Yeah, it is.
It needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like if we were to explore the relationship of Terrence and, say, Andrew more after the performance, it would just poison the whole point. That the whole film climaxes to that moment.
It doesn't need
Andrew
to be
becomes
more.
the drummer that he was always meant to be.
Yeah.
And Fletcher finally gets the student that he always wanted.
Yeah, true.
And what did it cost them? Cost them both everything.
True.
One lost his job. One was kicked out of kicked out of music school, or he just left music school. I think.
Yeah, I believe so. I think he left.
He left.
Yeah.
Emotionally traumatized.
Traumatized. Yeah.
Girlfriend gone, although she ended up reconnecting. It cost them almost everything.
Yeah. I know. Well, actually, with the girlfriend, it's interesting because he does call to like catch up with her again, and then she's like, "Oh, I'll let you know if I can come or whatever. I'll have to check with my boyfriend." Take that, fucking Neiman. Take that.
Well, you can't do that, Andrew.
Yeah, you can't have both.
No, you can't have both.
Certainly can't. Yeah, if you want to be the greatest something, you have to sacrifice your love life.
2014 was a fun year for films. What else came out that year? I mean, I was surprised it didn't win the Academy Award when I first saw it. But we'll look at them now. There were some exceptional films. So
Interstellar,
Birdman,
yeah,
exceptional. American Sniper, Boyhood,
yeah,
The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, Whiplash, and again, while it wasn't nominated, Interstellar. It's a sensational year for films.
Yeah,
very
that's tough. Yeah, I mean,
it's a very tough year.
Tough pull.
Where does that film rank for you amongst those films?
Look, it's definitely up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's hard. Obviously, I'm a huge Interstellar fan.
You are.
Yeah. But it's definitely up there. I remember the year. Thinking back, I remember watching Whiplash, and I watched it. Then I had to show someone the film as well. Like you mentioned before, it's like, you got to see this fucking film. But
it's
I remember
an easy sell for people.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it was definitely one of my favorite films that year. Like it would have been the top 2 or 3.
Oh, certainly
top 2 or 3.
I think compared to say Birdman, who ended up winning the award.
Yeah,
both exceptionally well done.
Yeah, 100%.
Very impressive cast.
Yeah,
great performances all around. I think Whiplash is actually an easier sell than Birdman.
Yeah. Birdman's not for everyone.
It's not.
But I feel like people can relate to. Yeah,
I know that you love Birdman.
Yeah,
but we've had a few friends, even say our small circle, that have said they didn't really like it.
Yeah, it wasn't really. Yeah.
Again, Whiplash, it's very appealing in that way that it's short, concise, you're in and out, and it's just wickedly intense.
It is.
The Grand Budapest Hotel is obviously one of my favorites. Where's best film for me?
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe yours is The Royal Tenenbaums.
I believe it is, yeah.
I know you too well.
Every time I think about it, I think it is. Just can't go past it. There's a good question we can pose, which is this the best music film or a film about music.
Film about music.
There's
not a musical.
Not a musical.
Film about music.
A film about music. Because there's been a lot of movies done in the past with this topic or this genre. It's about, you know, becoming a musician or being the greatest musician or being the greatest band, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
What are some notable ones?
Look, the big one for me that would certainly rival Whiplash.
Yeah.
And I have to think long and hard about what I prefer. Would be Walk the Line.
Johnny Cash.
Unbelievable film.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of my personal favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible performance from Yaquin.
Yaquin.
Incredible performance from Reese.
Yeah.
Who again sang all those songs themselves as well. Well, offered music deals after the film's release.
Really?
Might I add? Correct.
To like create an album.
Yeah.
Like a Reese
Absolutely.
with a Spoon album.
Yeah. With a Spitzen.
With a Spitzen.
They genuinely were.
Wow.
What's a better film? Oh, again, Walk the Line, much longer.
Yeah.
Has dark moments.
Yeah.
Very impressive performances.
Yeah, true.
I think I might marginally prefer Whiplash. Again, just for the fact that it's so succinct.
Yeah.
But Walk the Line pulled the heartstrings a lot more.
Yeah.
I need to think about it. That's certainly one.
It's a tough one.
Yeah,
tough
that's a big one that comes to mind.
A couple of ones that probably are worth a comparison. A Star Is Born, recently, not that recent, but, you know, recent years.
Excellent. That's good.
People might say, you know, Straight Outta Compton is a comparison.
Yeah,
it's about music. It's about them, you know, making it.
Yeah. That was fun.
Bohemian Rhapsody. It was good. Not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Not what I wanted to get, I think, out of that.
Great performance.
Yeah.
Sensational performance.
Great performance, but not
an exceptional film.
Exceptional film.
No. The performance was great.
Yeah. You know, it's a good film about music. Almost Famous.
Yeah, I know that you love Almost Famous.
Kate Hudson. Your personal favorite as well, 8 Mile.
I do love 8 Mile.
Slim Shady.
I do love 8 Mile. Excellent.
The Doors.
Val
Kilmer.
He looks exactly like Jim Morrison in that film.
He does.
You and I are laughing about this.
How does he look now?
We're laughing about this earlier today. Man, he has aged horribly. I'm so sorry, Val.
Yeah.
We love you, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's not looking great.
No, he's not.
There is a new documentary about Val Kilmer. It's on Prime at the moment. He had throat cancer.
Did he?
Yeah, so he's got a hole in his throat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's had a lot of health problems in the last several years. But I think there's a whole period where he gained a lot of weight. Yeah. And, there was probably drug use and who knows whatever was happening. So he he didn't look great.
Okay.
And then he got hit with this as well. But Val's had a crazy life. Had a crazy life. It's very interesting. Very interesting to see. There's a couple more music films. Would you put Footloose in there? Is dancing the same as?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, there's certainly crossover there.
Yeah.
But for me, the big one that always sort of would rival Whiplash would be Walk the Line. That's the one that stands out for me.
That's fair. I think at the end of the day, I still think Whiplash is a different kind of movie because again, a lot of these other ones we mentioned is about an actual
biopics.
Yeah, exactly, biopic and about whereas this is about making it. Who knows? Maybe A Star Is Born a little bit because it's this musician. That
probably has the most parallels in my mind.
Yeah.
Where music is sort of the main theme. It's not necessarily about the characters.
Sure, and that movie also is about sacrifice and
absolutely
what direction you want to go in, and that kind of thing. Do you please the crowd? Do you please yourself with what you create? I don't know. It's interesting.
It is.
It's interesting.
It is
very interesting to talk about. Let's get into some creme de la cremes.
I can't wait.
I'd like to start with the director himself, Damien Chazelle. Obviously, he hasn't done too many films, so I think to date it's only three feature films. So it'll be a short creme de la creme, but I do want to dive into the 3 films that he has made because I'll tell you right now, he is one of my favorite directors
already.
Yeah, already.
Okay.
So since Whiplash, he's been on my radar.
Yeah.
And I do like the Chazelle very much. Obviously, Whiplash, La La Land.
Excellent.
And then First Man with Ryan Gosling again.
Don't hate me. I haven't seen First Man.
You son of a bitch. First Man's great. First Man's great. Let me take you on a journey.
It came at a similar time to Ad Astra as well.
It did, yeah.
And I saw this sort of...
space movies.
Space movies, which again, I love space movies. You know that. But I've heard Well, Ad Astra was awful. No offense, Brad Pitt.
You know what?
No offense, Tommy Lee Jones.
That is what I thought initially watching it, but revisiting it and thinking about the film a lot more, Ad Astra is secretly a very, very good film. I think you have to give it another chance and think about it again.
For you, I'll give it a chance again.
Please
we'll go back to First Man.
First Man.
Impress me.
All right, so Whiplash comes out, great music film. It comes out, obviously he gets a lot of trust in Hollywood to create his next film. He creates La La Land.
Yeah, great.
A great, musical, but kind of still in a feature. Not really like just a blown out musical.
No.
Great actors. Love story. It's about dreams in Hollywood. It's about making it. Again, about sacrifice. About what does it take to be the greatest. Emma Stone, she wants to be a great actress. Ryan Gosling, jazz again, wants to have his own and wants to be the greatest as well.
God, they have good chemistry as well.
They have great chemistry.
Just get together. Yeah. Just do it. Just come on.
They're both like married.
What they want. Come on. We know they're perfect for one another.
They are. They've done a couple of movies together.
They have.
Yeah. What's the other one?
Crazy Stupid Love. I think.
Not that I watch it every day. So even that film, it's interesting because he follows it up. I feel there's always a bit of jazz in his films. Maybe not in First Man. But I do like that he brings it back to his roots and his musical roots and stuff like that.
He has a new film coming out soon.
He does. So I believe it's scheduled for 2022. It's called Babylon. It's right now who's attached is Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, I believe Tobey Maguire as well.
No way.
Which, I can see your face lighting up now.
I love Tobey Maguire.
Apparently it's his first
film. The one true Spider-Man.
That's right. We do like the original Spider-Man in this podcast.
Oh, don't worry, we'll come back to that in a second.
A great cast, actually.
Definitely.
I don't know if they released a synopsis of it.
Did you say Meryl before?
I did say Meryl Streep. Yeah, I believe she's in it as well. I don't think they have released a synopsis.
Okay.
But a lot of great actors attached. I mean everyone wants to fucking work with Chazelle. He's just done so much good shit.
Certainly has.
Olivia Wilde's in it.
Oh, great.
God.
She's been directing recently.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah.
Eric Roberts is going to be in it.
Cool.
Spike Jonze.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's great. Cool. First Man, Ryan Gosling, works with him again. He's like, Ryan, you're great.
We're going to place this kid.
It's about Armstrong, right? And the moon landing. And when I heard about the film, I was like, who gives a fuck? I wasn't really interested in watching it, right? But Chazelle did a great job with it because he made it more about, what has Armstrong actually been through and what was his journey to get to the moon? And it delves into his personal life a lot more, which is really interesting. And obviously played by Gosling, it's great to watch, right? But there's this whole element of Armstrong losing his daughter when she was really young. She passes away, and he has all this pain built up. But this is set in the 40s, 50s when it was happening, right? Men back then, didn't express their emotions and stuff like that. And being a tough man like Armstrong was,
alpha male, all that,
he suppressed all that. And suppressed a lot of the feelings that that he had and his emotions. And throughout all the test missions to get to the moon, it was interesting because a lot of them fucking died. A lot of them, a lot of the missions failed because the rocket will blow up and shit like that. And he was lucky that he wasn't selected for those flights. And all of that leading up to the mission, that's pretty much what the film's about.
Yeah,
it's actually really good.
Well, it's insane. Yeah. I mean, again, it was. Assuming that if you believe it happened.
Here we go. Conspiracy theories.
We won't get into that. But assuming that it did happen, and look, I think we think it certainly did.
A friend of ours, Marco, would say that
it's not possible.
That it didn't happen.
Let's get the assumption that it did. Well, it is one of the greatest achievements in human history. And like you said, there's trial and error to get to that point.
It's deep.
And I mean,
what happened? Yeah.
I've always gone on the idea that getting to the moon was never really the hard part. Getting back seemed crazy.
Yeah, true.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So to unpack that and what it took to get there.
Yeah. Chazelle did an amazing job. You should actually check it out. It's great.
Yeah,
and you know what it ties in really well the music throughout the film. Again, Justin Hurwitz, who's done music for all his films. His soundtrack for that film as well, amazing.
Perfect.
Just ties it all together.
All right, I'll watch it tonight. You've sold me.
Sold, baby.
Sold.
All right, well, out of the two that you have seen, Whiplash and La La Land, which one do you prefer?
Oh, Whiplash.
Yeah?
Again, that last scene, I'll say it again, is one of the greatest final scenes in any film ever made.
No,
I'm yet to see it outdone. It is exceptional.
I don't disagree with you. I think
it's
that's
certainly weaved its way into my top 10.
Yeah.
You?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think tossing up La La, because I think, look, First Man is really good, but I think it's not as good as Whiplash or La La Land.
Fair.
But I still like, as I said, I love what he does. It's a great film. But I think between La La Land and Whiplash, I think La La Land, it's a bigger film. Like it's Hollywood. It's a lot more actors. You know, the budget
more
must
grand,
have been,
certainly.
But I think what he did with Whiplash is more of an accomplishment because smaller budget, tight room, the acting. It's all about the characters. It's all about the music.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
and part of me sort of loves the fact that it didn't gross that massive amount of money. I mean, much like say the music and the arts. Didn't probably get the respect and attention that it deserves to something that is just so unbelievably difficult and complex to do.
Exactly.
Here's a question for you. So that was his first film.
Hit me.
Is it the greatest directorial debut ever?
Interesting. Possible. What are some ones to compare them to?
Okay. Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Memento.
Oh.
Tarantino. Right. Reservoir Dogs.
Mm.
I believe Martin Scorsese's first film was Mean Streets. I can confirm that right now. But I believe it was Mean Streets.
It's a tough one.
Who else do we have? I mean, Ari Aster, Hereditary, as a first film, was out of this world. I mean, for me, it's pretty
up
close.
There.
I mean,
it's up there.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah. Because, like...
Reservoir Dogs is certainly... and Memento are big contenders for me.
That's true.
And made a real splash when they were first released.
Yeah.
I mean, Memento really changed the landscape of films and storytelling for the next 10 years with respect to timelines.
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs, well, I mean...
It's,
one of the most beautiful films you've ever seen. And again, changed the landscape of
created a new genre.
Violence. Created a new genre.
Yeah.
It was the perfect, platform for Pulp Fiction.
That's why it's tough.
So I think, cultural impact.
Yeah.
Whiplash falls behind probably both of those two films.
Mm.
Execution.
Yeah.
I mean, and probably performance.
Performance as well.
Well, I mean, J.K. Simmons' performance for me is the best out of any of those films.
True. Because that makes it really stand out quite a lot.
It really does.
You know what's tough? It's tough because you're comparing Tarantino and, Scorsese. You're comparing some of these giants, right? And Chazelle's only still fairly young on the scene, right?
Giants then.
I know. But I think we're biased with our opinion at the moment, maybe, because we know them and we know what they've gone on to do as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, for you, what film do you like more out of Whiplash, Reservoir Dogs, and Memento? Hard, isn't it?
It's hard. It's like, you know what? I think I go back and watch Whiplash more than I go back and watch Memento, which is saying something.
Is that is also because once you see Memento,
it's
like Shutter Island.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to watch it so many times.
Exceptional first watch.
Yeah.
Hard to redo it again and again.
But again, your first experience with it,
extraordinary. And both are films that where you can watch somebody else watch it for the first time and get just deep-seated pleasure from watching their face. Just
sure. I think for me, better than the first time watching Reservoir Dogs.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
But Memento, maybe going back now, maybe not. But again, it's like it's like the first time you see it versus how many times you go back to it.
I think I got like Whiplash more than the two, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Memento, again, I love Christopher Nolan and I love Guy Pearce. So great. That's an Australian pride. Okay.
Of course.
Guy, we love you. Well, Nolan and Tarantino are also my two favorite directors. So it's hard to sort of separate the two, but their films, I think, also got arguably better from that point. Almost. Yeah. I think Whiplash is probably number one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to do more research. I'm happy to look into it more.
It's good. No, I respect that.
But it's one of those. He absolutely knocked it out of the park.
I respect that.
And again, it was short and succinct and in 19 days. That just blows my mind.
19 days gets me every
unbelievable.
Time. That's great. No, that's fair. I think that's fair. J.K. Simmons wins the Academy Award for this. I mean, arguably
one of 47 awards.
One of 47 awards. I'll run through a couple of standout films for Simmons for his creme de la creme.
Go on.
And look, it's probably going to be Whiplash, but that's better than the rest.
We'll call that already. But
yeah,
what's some of the classics?
Let's go back to because look, I won't lie, I'm not too familiar with Simmons's body of work apart from his J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man.
I'll say this now: I don't think an actor was ever more fitting for a role than J.K. Simmons was to play J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he fell out of the comic into real life.
Life.
Extraordinary.
And he's been brought back for the new Spider-Man.
I mean, who else could do it?
I know.
No one.
He's perfect for it.
The voice, the face, the mustache. It's just Spider-Man. It's just so unbelievably perfect.
He's so good.
He kills me.
He had a little role in La La Land as well.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Interesting.
He's played sort of bit part roles in so many films.
So many films.
Juno, Bird After Reading.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been a front runner in heaps.
No. Well, it was more like
Grit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been around, but Whiplash was
just amazing. I think it's hard to go past Whiplash as anything else being his creme de la creme, right?
Correct.
Arguably J. Jonah Jameson, but his performance and what he gave it and that film, that's J.K. Simmons.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not Justice League.
He also got extremely ripped by the end for the film. The man
he looked great.
He looks phenomenal.
He looked great.
Which is added to that whole everything about Terrence Fletcher was just intensity.
It was. He was not a man to mess with.
No.
Not a man to mess with.
And again, you have those fleeting moments. One just came back to me now where they finish a performance and I think he's talking to an old student or an old colleague and says hi to his daughter. And says, one day you'll come, and play music with me. And you're like, this guy's actually okay.
He's okay. I know.
He's not. He's an asshole.
Well, that scene's interesting because you're like, you're first like, maybe he's a good guy. But then at the same time, you're like, he's going to ruin this little girl's life as well in the future.
He was big in Oz.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The HBO series.
Yeah.
Go Back in Time, which also has...
Watched a couple episodes.
Carmela, can't remember her name, from The Sopranos. She also plays a massive role in that film too, I believe, as one of the security guards. But I know that he had a really big role. I mean, that ran for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
In the late 90s to the 2000s.
Yeah.
I think that certainly helped put him on the map.
Oh, definitely. He's just done so much.
He has.
All these
He's a volume
roles.
actor.
You know what I like him in? I like him in I Love You, Man. It's a little comedy with what's his name? Paul Rudd? Yeah, Paul Rudd. He's great.
Certainly a fan
favorite. Miles Teller, creme de la creme. Let me give you a couple of movies.
You could try Sway Me, but I mean, I'm pretty sold. Go
on. He did a movie called Rabbit Hole, which was I think that was his first film.
Okay, haven't seen that.
Apparently he's actually pretty good in that. I think it's like Nicole Kidman, Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, check it out.
Harvey
Dent. I noticed him in there was a movie called Project X.
I knew you'd say that.
I think that's what I noticed in the first time, but he actually was in a Footloose remake.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Which I haven't seen, and that probably tells us a lot about how good that film was. I don't think that was really that good. The Spectacular Now, 21 and Over. He was in a lot of these like little teen movies and things like that. And then 2014 comes around, he gets Whiplash.
Yep. For me, the only real massive standout after that would probably be War Dogs.
Yeah.
In which I still think that he probably wasn't best on ground. I think Jonah
was better.
I mean, when I think about the film, I think about Jonah more.
Yeah.
Jonah almost took the piss out of that role, and I love him for it. It's like, I'm just going to completely own being this fat
Yeah.
monster. Like,
Yeah.
I just love it.
Look,
Miles did really well in that film too, but again, I'm yet to see something as excellent as Whiplash. I mean, like we said before, Wally had a drumming background.
To do that,
I think what I'm reading here, we spent sort of 4.5 hours a day training and prepping for that role.
Oh shit!
And while I'm not a musician, I don't know the mechanics of drumming, how difficult it is. That final solo was exceptional. Amazing. And like, if I was to see someone do that at a jazz club, I would stand up and clap. Yeah, absolutely exceptional. So hats off to
Bravo.
Him. Bravo for sure. Hats off to him for it. It took commitment.
Yeah, definitely. You know what's before War Dogs, he had that whole like Divergent series and stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't great.
He also appeared as Reed Richards in Fantastic Four.
He did
reboot.
I was so hopeful for that, but
so was I.
It didn't work out.
Why can't it be nailed?
I don't know. Is it cursed or something? I don't know.
I don't know. No, it can't. We get to see it done really, really well.
Yeah, and
the cast has changed. There's been some decent actors too.
True.
I mean, the first casting looked straight out of the comic books for me, but
true.
I don't know, just can't seem to get it right. Just the Fantastic Four just not that likable.
Yeah, I think they're bringing them back right to Marvel.
They are, I think so.
And the hot rumors for a while have been John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, which would be amazing. But I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to happen. But yeah, Miles had a shot at it. Didn't work out.
Sorry, Miles.
You know, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but in 2017, he dropped a film called Only the Brave.
Have not seen it.
It's actually good. It's like about these firefighters. He's actually really good in it. It's actually really good.
Events of 9/11.
Nah, I don't think it is. But yeah, he plays this like great character. It's like great actors in it. Josh Brolin, you got Jeff Bridges, Taylor Kitsch, Jennifer Connelly. But he plays this like kind of guy that's kind of like I think he might have like been doing drugs and shit like that, maybe like ice or something like that. And then he's trying to clean up his act and stuff like that, and gets his job as like a firefighter and does his thing. Like his arc is really like interesting. Okay. But he's actually really good in it.
Great. Oh my god, watch.
Again, I don't know if it's better than Whiplash, but it's somewhere there.
I'm yet to see one better than Whiplash.
Yeah.
We're talking, I mean, for me, Whiplash certainly ranks in my top 10 films of the past decade.
Yeah.
So let's say 2010 to 2020. Well, when 20 is just a fake year, so we'll say 2021.
2021.
For me, it ranks in the top 10.
Yeah.
You?
I think it does as well. I think it's in there.
It's hard not to put it
It's hard not to put it there because it's like I told you, it's one that I go back and watch quite frequently.
Absolutely.
Love the music. Keep listening to it.
Definitely.
Love the Chazelle. Keep a good eye on him.
Definitely.
Yeah. So would you say Whiplash is creme de la creme?
Without question.
Fair.
Without question.
Fair. I think so too. I think when you think back on Miles Teller, you're going to be like that kid from Whiplash.
Exactly right.
Agreed.
I just bought it. Dedication.
Yeah.
Again, and knowing that it was him behind the drums there too, just makes it all the more impressive for me.
Yeah, 100%. What he did with that. You know what it is? I'll make a comparison. Miles Teller in Whiplash is like Kevin Bacon in Footloose. It's his.
You're loving Footloose.
I'm loving Footloose. Miles had a shot at doing Footloose, didn't work out. He does Whiplash, becomes his version of Footloose.
There you go.
What
you're saying is Kevin Bacon needs to do a next version of Whiplash.
Yeah, to become Miles Teller. Kevin, we love you. If you're listening, we love you, Kevin.
We love you, Kev.
Great. I think, that's J.K. Simmons, Miles, Chazelle, hit it out of the park on all occasions.
Absolutely.
Great. Amazing stuff. Anything else you think that we missed from the film, or do you think that there was any other scenes that really stood out that we haven't covered?
It's hard to say. And again, I think part of the reason why I love the film is that it's so short and concise and it happens. And I mean, there's so many things you could unpack for hours and hours and hours, but the strength of the characters, the treatment of music. Yeah.
What was your, we talked about this earlier, what was your favorite song throughout? Caravan?
Oh. I mean, I'm gonna listen to it the second we finish this podcast.
Blast some Caravan.
We'll blast some Caravan in the house.
It's great.
That is just unbelievable.
It's so good.
And again, like, I certainly do enjoy jazz. I'm not a jazz
You're
connoisseur,
a jazz man?
but I do like jazz. Yeah. And that film is just so perfect in so many ways.
Yeah.
For me, again, it's one of the most flawless films I've ever seen in that every scene had merit.
Yeah.
I said to you before, I wouldn't take anything out. I wouldn't add anything in. It was just perfect. I have films that I prefer more. I've seen better films. And again, you're talking about very small margins here. When you go into sort of the top tier of films.
Sure.
But there are probably moments in those films that I think maybe didn't have to be there.
Yeah.
Or it was a bit too long. Or they could have explained this a little bit more.
No, yeah.
Whiplash had none of those.
Sure, everything
really
had
was
a
flawless
purpose.
for me.
Yeah. Flawless.
I
like that.
Just as that performance at the end, it was absolutely flawless.
I like that. It's a beautiful film. It's great. Music's amazing. Actors, their performances are great. J.K. Simmons, always be remembered.
Big shout out to you, J.K.
J.K., if you're listening, you shouldn't have done Justice League. But yeah, amazing stuff. I'm super excited to see what Babylon is.
Definitely.
It's like, great actors.
Well, we'll go see it together. Perhaps drop a review straight after.
100%.
Try and make it spoiler free.
Yeah, we'll see about that. It'll be great to see Tobey Maguire back because I think it's his first film back.
Is it actually?
Yeah. Last one was I think it was Bobby Fischer. He played like the famous chess player.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there's rumors of him appearing in the next Spider-Man film, which will be just one of the greatest moments of my 28 years if that should take place.
I know. Imagine it's the new Spider-Man film,
the multiverse,
but that multiverse scene of all of them together is right at the end.
I'm going to lose my mind if that happens. I'm not coming to work the next day.
But I feel like they're probably not going to give us enough of it.
They like
it'll just be enough. You think so?
Just to see Tobey Maguire again in the Spider-Man suit.
It'll be enough.
Being
Peter,
much older Peter Parker. It was. I love Tobey.
That'll be good. I'm excited. But anyway, we'll see Babylon. We'll also see Babylon. Great. It's a fantastic film.
It is.
Keep going back to it. Chazelle. Keep an eye out on Chazelle.
Keep an eye out for Chazelle.
Watch his other movies if you haven't seen them.
Well, I'll be watching First Man tonight.
You should watch First Man. And
so I'll let you know how that
2022,
goes.
Babylon. Check it out.
Sold.
We'll see you back in 2022. Stefano, thanks for coming along.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Yeah, we'll have to lock in what the next one is. And
we've got a few ideas.
Yeah, a couple of ideas. We recently watched Nicolas Cage's Pig.
Yeah, how was that?
It was interesting. Well, I think there's going to be a review coming soon, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks.
Exciting.
So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Come back.
I certainly
will.
Come
back with some Pig.
Any others coming out?
I'm not too sure yet.
Okay.
Not too sure yet. I'm keeping options open.
Sure. Well, I've got a couple of films I wouldn't mind.
I do want to see the new Suicide Squad film because it's been released.
James Gunn.
Yeah.
Given his second
and it's actually got a 97% Rotten Tomato.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, like with all these DC films now, even Marvel films, I'm just tentative. I do think I have a little bit of superhero hangover.
Yeah.
Outside of the Batman, which is going to be excellent. And again, we can dedicate a whole segment to
week
to that. Yeah. I'm keen to see it. Will I wait? Will I go out and see James Gunn's Suicide Squad? Maybe not. Maybe it's one of the things I wait to sort of appear on Amazon Prime.
For me, a DC film getting a 97% rating, that's the only thing that stands out for me.
Yeah. I mean, look, his work on Guardians of the Galaxy was just so damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably, part one is probably for me one of the top 4 or 5 Marvel films ever made.
Same.
Again, another great use of music there as well. That soundtrack is
Well, Suicide Squad, apparently it's got a good soundtrack as well.
Really? Yeah. Look, I'm open to it.
If it's got jazz in it, I mean, maybe. If it's got some jazz. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe, I might check that out soon. And that might be another one that's a bit of a podcast, but we'll see. We'll get there.
Fantastic.
But anyway, thank you.
Mate, thanks for having me.
Whiplash. And we take it away with Caravan. Thanks, Steph.
Thanks.